What's wrong with it like this? Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Rift with very loud, obnoxious noises because I need to get to the video that is actually doing this and turn it down. There we go.
We are good.
So much better.
Welcome to Beyond the Rift, hosted by BL Gaming.
Yes.
We are coming to you live this Thursday night
Krett.
with some awesome show in store for you. We're going to do I don't know what Krett was doing, but it was weird. That's all I have to say. So, we have a great show for you tonight. It's a bit different in our format, so if it's awesome or horrible, please let us know.
Also, we take suggestions.
Yes, we too take suggestions, and we take call-ins on our Skype, pretty much about whatever. We are a open viewer, open source, not really, but open community show.
Yes.
And so
we want to get all the community involved by getting them to call in, getting them to get their opinions in. Today, so isn't really like overwhelmed with topics. Like there's not a ton of because there's no patch notes. It's just one big thing.
Yes,
because
which I'm
we don't have
kind
to
of
spend
happy
an
about.
hour to spend on patch notes.
I'm kind of happy about that.
So we want to talk about team stuff that's been going on.
Yes, we're gonna jump right into it.
Right.
Since we do esports and all that other stuff and a whole bunch of other cool stuff, but there's some major team shakeups that happened this week.
Yes.
So, you know all those teams that kept winning everything?
Yes.
Well, a bunch of their players got shuffled around, left, and went all sorts of crazy directions, which is interesting in and of itself, because I'd imagine if you're winning everything,
You'd want to stay
that
together.
wouldn't happen. But people surprise you, and they surprise us all the time. So I'm going to give us a brief overview of that, and then I'm going to let our guys, Scytheman and Krett here, go into more detail and a little bit more minutia of like what's going on. Give you an idea.
In summation, none of the teams are the same.
Yeah, none of the major teams are the same. That's on the NA side. Pretty much it. So the major ones, Zytheman and Sparks leaving Curse right before the tournament last week, the Curse tournament. Sparks still played. Zytheman didn't.
You just want to let Scythe go it?
Yeah, it's
Scythe,
like I had
Scythe, Krett, explain what happened with the team shakeups because you guys have been paying very close attention to what's been going on there.
You want to take it?
No, you start.
No,
All right,
really?
So
Come on,
let's
guys.
start with Curse. What happened to Curse this week? Well, Zap left, Sparks left. They're both residing on Root right now. Zap's is starting carry, and Sparks is the sub. Curse also lost the Best last night. The Best decided he was getting burnt out on the game and didn't want to play. So the current roster for Curse is Pon, KO, and Shadow Q. And they're looking to pick up a mid and a support player. Let's see, what do we get? Root obviously acquired Zap and Sparks, and with that, they decided that they wanted to bench Derby for what I can only assume is underperformance, and they're going to shift Lassus back into mid after, what, 2.5 months now? Something like that?
Yeah, because for all you guys who have joined the scene recently, Lassus was a major mid player since he started playing the game up until about December-ish. December, January. And then they transitioned him to a lane.
Yeah.
And everyone found that rather surprising because he was an incredibly strong mid player. So hopefully we're going to see his domination come back again because it was really fun to watch. All right, continue on that, Scytheman.
I think that's more or less it for major changes. Jerb is, I believe, deciding whether or not he wants to stay with Root, stay with Smite, stay with Root, stay with whatever. Smaller team changes that I know of. I know Pain to Beyond's team had a lot of shakeups. I don't know the exact roster, so I'm not going to go into it. Also, I think Snipe Gaming picked up iOmega, I want to say.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Snipe Gaming.
Carry.
What is Snipe Gaming's current lineup, Krett? I know you know this off the top of your head.
Oh, man. Alright, so Snipe Gaming is a little confusing. Originally, Shing and Allied left
Root.
they formed a team just to play with their friends, and then they were like, actually, fuck this, we're going to make a real team, as far as I know. So they picked up MLC Stealth, which was Denial's mid, put him on support, and then they picked up, who's their other carry?
Omega.
I don't remember.
Shang.
No, they're mid, right. Their mid is NJ Nick, who hasn't been in the competitive scene, really. And so he just entered it. And then Omega is, I think, a starting carry for them, but I don't know if that's locked in.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, because all of a sudden they popped up and essentially out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, here's this new team with all these people on it. So, Lassies is also now the captain of Root. He's team captain of Root.
Yep. Pon is the captain of Curse now.
Yep.
Pon and Curse are kind of deciding on what they need to do because they're down 2 people.
Yeah,
and
2 really good
Actually,
people.
3 people, but they picked up KO for carry over Zapman. But since Sparks left, they're down again, and then the best left, so they're down again. Mm-hmm. And so now, technically, they have 3 people, and they're kind of wondering what to do if they're planning on building it up or just dissolving it or what. So I don't really want to see Curse go because, I mean, it's a big team, and we want to keep them around.
Oh, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. I mean, you don't just come in and win 80% of the tournaments and then a few of your players leave and then you stop. Like, that's just not... I can't imagine that happening. Now, can it happen? Yes. Would it be a good idea on their part? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of who they're going to get to fill the spots. Are they going to get people who are already known in the community, who are already really good, or are they going to do recruit and get up-and-coming players? So it's going to be a really interesting time. Root looks like it comes out of this a lot stronger than Curse does.
Well, yeah. They still have a whole team.
Yeah. So, who's on Root now? Krett, Scytheman, whole roster. What do we got?
All right, so Root has Anister and Anatoly starting in left lane. Lasses is mid, and then it's Zapman. No, it's Zap Anatoly. No, Zap Maddie.
It's Zap and I'm pretty sure it's Zap Anatoly and Maddie, and
they changed it the past 2 days. Zapman didn't want to play with Anatoly, so he's with Matt now.
Okay, Zap Maddie then. Yeah, and then also, as people are saying, Zero Guards did leave Curse. He seems to be a free agent right now. And then the other team whose roster has changed a lot is Denial. Who they lost MLC Stealth, replacing with Mace of the Face, who was from Denial NA, formerly KO's team. And then they seem to have lost Omega and Adonis, and they picked up Harry GN for mid, and they picked up Jeff Hendla for support. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So confusing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's basically we got to... It's very early to say who's going to be the solid teams because they're still not quite settled. And, I mean, we can't say that they're ever going to stay settled because you would thought that Root and Curse were solid teams in the sense that these guys weren't going to get off the team because they're the top 2 teams.
Yeah.
But then people are leaving and people are deciding to quit the game and stuff like that. So
everyone was...
We'll give it a week or 2.
I was really surprised. I know a lot of people who follow the teams really closely weren't all that surprised that it happened. But, like, the people who watch their streams 24/7, they're like, yeah, we kind of got the idea that this wasn't working out terribly well, especially with the on-stream antics that were going on right as that happened. But I think everyone else was like, oh? Because you have the best team, you win almost everything, and then you lose, like, 50% of your players.
I mean, what caught me off guard the hardest was Best deciding he wants to go back to League. I mean,
yeah.
Personally, as a mid player, I always thought Best was pretty much the strongest mid out there right now, and it's kind of
the best on Smite mid.
Up and decided he doesn't want to play anymore. I mean, the guy always kept me honest, to be 100%. So it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are other teams. A lot of the EU teams seem a lot more stable than the NA teams.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't 2 o'clock in the morning for them so that we could get them on and talk about it. But it is.
You talking about
3
sprays in
o'clock.
chat?
It's Spray too.
Yeah, spray's
Well,
always
he's
awake.
spray, though.
Spray for spray!
So I hear some of the EU teams did a lot better this week.
Well, if you wanted to get a quick summary of this weekend, we had an all-EU tournament. It was hosted by Worth It Gaming, and it had 13 teams sign up. If you want to compare that to Curse of the Gods, they had 10... It was 10 teams, right? Not 11. Or was it 11?
11, 10, something like that.
It was
10 and a half
It
teams.
actually depended on SK, because whether it was 10 or 11. SK lost in the semifinals, so they opted not to play in the third-place match and then jumped over to the Curse of the Gods tournament. So if... It was like the EU teams were playing, and then they decided, well, we're out, so we're going to go jump over there. And a couple teams did that. So... There was far more EU teams playing this weekend than NA teams in the various tournaments. And then what was more awesome is over in the casually competitive tournament, we had 33 teams play.
Yeah, it was crazy.
33! We had to split it up into EU and NA brackets because we were like, it's 17 and 16 teams. Let's go.
And it was almost 16 and 16.
Yeah.
So close.
It was so close. And so we got that all worked out, and we ran 2 brackets, and it ran them out through the brackets, and then did an international finals, and the EU teams actually took it. So it was super awesome, very exciting, and a lot of fun to cast and play in, and not playing, but cast and admin.
Yeah, and we are also doing the Gals tournament at the same time. How'd that go?
Oh, that went great. That ran through, didn't have a problem. So things are getting really crazy with that.
What do you think, Cooper, about this whole shebang with the teams and the scenes, EU, NA? What do you got for us?
After adminning the Woggle stuff, what do you think of the tournaments these days?
Oh, they all suck. Woggle is the best. No, I mean, I've always supported an EU NA scene split. I think eventually as the game gets bigger, it's going to come to that. So sooner than later is probably better. But the fact that these teams are not competing in the NA tournaments at all is a little disappointing. There's issues that you can't fix. And then obviously all this team hopping is a really big disappointment to me. I think Curse was one of the best things out there in terms of their chemistry. I mean, obviously we don't see things going on in the back end, but it seemed they had pretty good chemistry. It seemed they were still winning. It's not like they went on a 10 tournament losing streak. They still had success.
Yeah.
And they're coming off a 10K tournament win. So, it seemed very odd, and we don't have all the details in terms of what was going on between them internally, but it was a big shock. That's all. So.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I saw that. I'm like, really? How short of a memory do you guys have? I mean, you're really good. It's like
I'm actually a goldfish rock.
What?
You forget things really quick?
Yes.
Wait, what are we talking about?
I have a 5-second memory. So.
A goldfish rock. Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know what to say to that.
While I was at work today watching streams instead of doing my job.
Sure.
I did notice, now don't quote me on a full tryout, don't quote me on whether it's official. I did notice Luck Q was playing quite a bit with Snipe today, and I do know he's pretty good friends with Allied, and I'm pretty sure Shing as well. He's dipped his hands into the competitive scene, but with not much success. He's a pretty good support player, so keep an eye on him for kind of dipping his hands in the Snipe tryouts area.
Cool. Yeah. So, is there any team out there that you guys think can beat Root?
BLG.na.
Is there any? Yeah. So, who won the EU tournament?
BLG-EU.
BLG-EU
They
won
beat out
that.
Worth It and took the Worth It tournament 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
It was
That was really
very
good
exciting,
game.
very exciting games.
Really, really great.
I was casting it with Serpelperg, who is quite a nice German caster, and he's very fun. So we'll be doing it again this weekend. So tune in, follow me on Twitter. You can find out when it's happening, etc., etc. And shockingly, after talking to Serpelberg yesterday on the community show, like, got to talk to him more in depth and not so much in the casting method. The EU scene's growing very, very fast. I mean,
Yes,
we got a
it
German
is.
community, we got a Polish community, we got the Spain community, and on top of the very obviously large Swedish community or like Norwegian community. Is that no, not Norwegian?
Someone doesn't like the cold.
Yeah.
No, I just don't like the Swedish community. They've got Sprayon, they've got Compass. Do I need to keep going?
Nordic region. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Nordic. Compass is offended.
Shots
As
fired.
Compass and Sprayon are both in the chat.
Why you
in
hate?
case you're
Why you
wondering.
hate? So, yeah, I mean, it's really awesome that they're doing so well, and I see it growing so fast, and it's really cool. So, I am actually looking a little forward to possibly an EU-dominated scene soon.
Yeah.
Which, meaning like in the international finals that might run EU teams. Because one thing we figured out, our EU team that was playing in the casually competitive tournament was New Breed, and they were up against Omega Gaming. And the only one of the reasons they dropped the second game to Omega was, we were discussing with them after the game, was that they panicked because during the pick stage they were like, "Holy crap, we're playing on an NA server. We got to pick something we can hit with. What can you hit with? A Hades? You know, they're just like trying to grab as many random gods that they can hit stuff with." And he's like, "We just got totally psyched out by being on the NA server and stuff like that, and you know, it ruined their picks, and that's one of the reasons they got basically wrecked in the second game. But on the third game, when they were back in EU, they were like, "Well, we know our strategy, we know our play," so they took it in the third game without
Do you think
without a care in the world.
Do you think anything would change if Hi-Rez added a whole EU like server?
They have an EU server.
Well, like a whole like fast connection in between it, so people aren't having gigantic lag issues like they are currently. Never mind. How about oceanic servers?
That's oh yeah. What Duke had suggested actually is Hi-Rez will now get a some sort of jumbo jet to go fly around and hook people from the ground and take them to the various sites. So when you get selected for a match, you throw up your hook and you're like, "Woo!" and you go over to that region to play.
That's awesome.
It'll be supersonic speeds. You'll get there in under 30 seconds, so that way you can hit accept.
Yep,
That's too long. Loading time's too long.
Yeah. The hook from BioShock. I hope wind resistance doesn't affect you. Because you know that like entering the atmosphere at like Mach 20 or whatever it is, that's
Right.
what it's going to be like when you.
Right. Anyway,
And it's going to be hilarious.
so
We'll call it
I
Columbia.
don't even know where we're going with this.
I don't know either,
I
but,
don't know, but it was
is there
a fun
anything else you
place.
want to talk about teams or
No, I'm done.
all that kind of stuff? Are we good with that?
It's enough drama or enough team drama for today.
I mean, it's just craziness. Do you want to?
BLG.na
What
soon.
does our
Yes.
stream want to watch us do while we work on this next topic? Like maybe load up Smite if we're going to talk about a god.
Ooh, can I destroy Demon in a joust?
Yes, actually.
You know what?
Sounds
It's
funny as
on,
hell.
buddy.
Do it.
Let's go.
Go!
Let's go.
My
All
money's
right.
on Demon.
What?
Krett pick Thor.
We gotta. No,
Oh,
we gotta.
I will pick Thor.
We gotta play the. We gotta play a mirror match or what?
I don't
Chat,
know.
decide, quick.
Okay. Chat. It's Krett,
Yeah, pick
who's
for
really
both of us,
good,
pick
versus DeamonMachine, who's very mediocre.
Yes, prepare to be underwhelmed is my favorite
Yes.
saying about
So, what does our chat want to see the fight as?
Note that my Thor is terrible, hence why Scythe is saying Thor.
this. He wants me to play on Neath.
All right. Wait, what god are we talking about? We're saying what god should DeamonMachine play, and what god should Krett play? What do we got?
Right.
AD Hebo. I like it. Krett, you're an AD Hebo.
AD hell.
Yes, think of
So
it.
you want to invite me, bro?
Yeah, invite him, bro.
I invite you, bro, yeah?
I
Yeah.
think this will be my first
I-
ever played Joust.
I like the AD Hebo. So, all right, we have AD Hebo with Krett, and now we got to give something ridiculous to Demon.
Odin versus Thor. People want to see me play
AP
Neath.
Kali.
AP Kali.
No. It has to be, like, remotely viable. Like, AD
Yeah.
Hebo can do damage.
Tank Baka, go.
Tank Baka.
Tank Baka. Yes.
Baka.
Tank. All tank items.
It's gonna. No, we're not doing
it
the
ain't
Zeus
got
versus
HP.
Zeus shit.
No Zeus versus
Or
Zeus.
the
We've
Ymir
done
versus
that.
Ymir.
We've done
It
Zeus
takes for
versus
fucking
Zeus.
ever.
Not a good thing.
So what am I picking?
Bakasura. The thing in the
Baka.
center.
If it doesn't have HP, you can't buy it.
Okay, so HP. Seriously?
If it doesn't have HP, you can't buy it.
Full health vodka.
Yes. All right. Load
There's
up
still some
the.
good options on the table for you. You'll be all right.
All
Except
right.
Gameplay.
well, I'll let you slide on.
Hi.
We have a caller while we are loading this up.
Gameplay up,
I'm
up
working
right
on it.
there.
Rebel.
My match
Bravo.
has been begun.
All right, so this is kind of what we're gonna go for while we're trying some new stuff to. All right. Level up something. Do it.
Let's
Don't
see.
pick that one.
Don't
Nah,
pick
it's
that
terrible
one.
starting item.
Don't pick that one.
Terrible starting item.
Just get
What are
one
you
of
doing?
each. You're level
Oh
3.
right. Let's start.
There you
I
go.
taught you how to play this game.
Okay, that's
Krett,
cool.
you
What kind of
must go
boots do
AD Hebo.
What kind of boots do we have to go for doing this?
Oh.
If it doesn't have health, you can't buy it.
Well,
No boots for you.
no, he can get
Reinforced
or celerity. Like
Yeah.
neither of those are really gonna make
boots.
a
Probably
big difference.
celerity. I'd get celerity.
Celerity it is.
All right.
And then health only. So we're going only for defense items health.
Yep. You can't get any.
Damn it! I didn't get Vampiric Shroud. Fuck!
Well,
Or
that's problem.
Death's Toll. That
Just
would've
go
been good.
run and stab him. You're Bakasura.
Running to
So,
stab him. I
all
probably
right,
should've grabbed that
Hrothgar,
one.
what do you got? What do you got?
Just go egg his house.
Come
Go.
on, Rebel. Don't act like you don't know me. Am I a stranger like that?
You a stranger like that, man. What do you
Who
got?
let
What's
this
your
guy
question?
call in?
Eat him. Eat him.
Okay.
Do it.
My question is, Krett, what shampoo do you use?
I'm gonna go ahead and answer that for Krett, and he doesn't use shampoo. His shampoo is called a razor blade.
Really?
I don't even.
Because I thought he used some like head and shoulders.
Get him. Eat it. Eat it. Use your 3. Do it.
Where's
No,
my
he
Thor?
died.
Yes, Roman Reigns!
So close.
Oh.
I had like one more hit on him.
Did they announce that? Savant? Savane?
Damn it, Demon, you're Kakasura. Well,
Do it.
okay.
Dude,
Dude,
he's
what's your
he's-
question, bro?
He's
serious question.
dude, Bakasura has a little like bunny nibble on him.
Bunny kibble.
Oh no,
Oh.
actually, I didn't want to ask a question. I wanted Krett to state a point. Which stone on one? Why is it better?
Which what?
It's
For the album.
generally not, but in that situation, we played a match last night, and we were trying hard. It's mentoring. And I told him to get Witchstone.
Uh-oh.
We're
What
down on lag. You heard it here first.
Yep. Lag.
Hope we didn't lose our stream.
Oh no, it came back.
No, please.
All right.
Yeah.
This is actually turning out to be an interesting matchup. Thank you guys.
I just want to see
Okay,
Demon
well.
puke rainbows.
Well, Krett, yeah, that crazy item. Moral of the story: crazy items sometimes work. Exactly.
All right. Well, I believe what's going on in our chat.
Can I jungle?
No.
They
Oh,
announced
gentlemen's
that
joust.
turn down the game slightly.
Turn
Game
down
sound. Game sound a lot.
Don't attack me. I'm doing audio stuff.
There you go.
You jackass.
Oh, he slowed you. Get over
Well,
it.
anyway.
Do it.
Yeah.
Ah.
Good times, gentlemen.
All right. Well, thank
Have
you for the
fun
call,
in your
sir.
game.
All right, we have another caller in here. Great. Eat the tower.
No!
Tower's
go-
gonna eat you. Oh.
Damn it. Too hard.
How's it going?
Hey,
Health.
Justin, what is your question for our stream panel action game?
So you guys talked about the team changes, and some of the people in here knew the team changes as they happened, but a lot of the negatives and the positives on what these people would and wouldn't bring to the teams wasn't really discussed, and I think that's a cool thing to discuss for everybody, because that man joining and them losing the best, like, how is that going to affect these guys now? I mean, Zap's a really, really good player, but he can bring some negatives to Root as a whole.
You know, it's really gonna depend upon who Curse picks up in that situation. I mean, right now they only have is it 2 or 3? Is it dedicated player? 3 players. So, I mean, how that team's gonna mesh and what each player is gonna bring from that point is gonna depend on who they pick up.
Yeah.
In terms of Root, I mean, we've seen before, picking up the best players in the world doesn't really mean anything. So, but Zap brings a more controlled, organized environment, I think, than Root hasn't had in the past. They were a bit aggressive with each other in the past, and I think Zap's gonna kind of buckle down and tell the team what to do in that regard. So I think he's gonna bring a lot more structure to Root. Where Laziz now switching to mid because of the pickups, that'll be a lot stronger mid than what they had with Jerby. That's not a hit on Jerby, but I do think Laziz, once he gets in the swing of things, back into his normal form of mid, he'll be able to pick up the slack that Jerby couldn't.
And do you guys know who was calling the shots before when Root would play, before they acquired
I think you're
Zap?
breaking up, buddy.
Yeah,
he was basically asking who was calling the shots before they broke up.
Who's calling the shots for Root?
Yeah.
For Curse. Zap was
No,
calling
no,
the shots
for
for
Root.
Curse.
While
For
they
Root.
were in game.
Sorry, buddy, you can't hear you over the yelling.
Yeah, I got it, Coop. 3 weeks ago, I'd have told you Shing was calling, or not Shing, Allied was calling the shots. After Allied left, I'm really not sure who picked up the slack, and that I know me looking at that change, that was one of the biggest things that I thought was going to be a problem for them. So they went a good 2 weeks or so without somebody who I felt was really going to make a difference in the shot calling. But now that they picked up Zap, they've kind of picked up that slack again.
And Zap is
And somebody who's a very good shot caller, yeah.
I don't know. I just look at it as, I mean, Root was obviously doing something right before they picked up Zap. So, I mean, whatever they were doing, and especially after they lost Allied and picked up Andister, I mean, they won. I mean, they won their tournament, their first tournament with Andister, and now that they picked up Zap,
at the same time,
like
didn't Curse play that tournament without Best?
they did, and then I don't think Jerby
So
was
kind of
there
the
either.
next tournament without Zap.
Or not Gans.
So yeah, they were winning the tournaments, but at the same time, the one team that was really capable of giving them the competition they needed was not at full strength either tournament.
And you kind of have to
what do you
wonder
think is going
if
to become of
the internal
Anatoly?
problems
I
with
feel like
Curse
they're
were
going to make a play. I
happening
mean,
the week
I think Anatoly is just there out of
won the
guilt
tournament.
right
I
now.
mean, you
I'm
can't
gonna be honest.
imagine it happened over one day. I mean, again, we don't know the internal details, but Curse dominated the scene for quite a few tournaments. So to say that Root was doing something right, I think they weren't. I think something was missing right now. They got it back.
There it is.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to be the Miami Heat of Smite for a while?
I think they always were. I mean,
Root?
Yeah. I mean, the only player they were missing was that man. I mean, everybody on that team was one of the most liked players in the community. So, and now picking up Zap, now they're even more like that. But they've always been a high popularity team.
Oh yeah, they always have been. When Root first started out, I had a nickname for him, calling them the Stream Team.
To see whether or not it lasts.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to that as well.
I don't know how well the personalities are going to mesh on that team right now.
I don't know. It sounds selfish, but I mean, I hope the players get spread out more. I mean, I liked it a lot more when Snipe finally came in, and you saw Snipe, and you saw Root, and you saw Curse all winning tournaments like 1 week after another.
I don't really think that,
and that's the fun stuff to
these
watch.
Players need to be spread out. To be perfectly honest, I've always been a firm believer that if you got 5 fan favorite all stars on one team, it's still gonna lose to 5 above average players that play like a team.
I think that'll happen once.
And what we need more now is more team players and more teams actually acting like teams.
Right.
This would have all been cool 5-6 months ago when we were still growing the game. But now we need a solid lockdown, good year of just the same teams.
Why, you think it's good that
down,
Root sits there and Curse wins every day?
We need that right now.
Yeah, I don't think that's fun at all.
Otherwise, like I said at the beginning of this, I don't like these player hoppings. We need it to be locked down.
I would really hate them just one team dominating everything for the longest time.
And I think that's what's going to happen now for a little while. And that's it's fun to watch for a little bit, but I mean the community wants to see people, and like that's why when CW won, I was just like, nice. I mean, I'm not an EU player, I'm an NA player, but CW winning, like that was one of the most exciting things I saw. And granted, there was issues with DDoSing or whatever, but it's all irrelevant to me. It was just fun to watch, and it's cool to see somebody else pull up on top every once in a while. And if Root's going to just continually just destroy kids now, like that's going to get old very, very quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be boring.
It's left to see whether they'll actually do that. We've seen it in Smite before where just because they're a really good team, they have really good players, doesn't mean that someone's not going to come up and just break
Yeah, I'm wondering, is that just me or?
No, they keep cutting out on the sound big time.
We keep cutting out?
Yeah, and anybody that's coming in through your end.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I appreciate the time, guys. I like the show that you guys run. I appreciate you guys letting viewers call in. You guys have a good night. I'm going to continue watching, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the call, sir.
I mean, just to add on to that, I mean, it's all yet to be seen. I mean, this happened this Sunday and Monday, so this weekend we'll see how it goes, and it's the first weekend. We realize that, but you know, they do have a full solid week of practice, so we'll really see how the arguments work out and the player chemistry.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, that's exactly what.
I feel like we've got at least another week of roster changes ahead of us, or at least where roster changes may be an issue.
Wonder how I turn it off.
And then
I think the top two teams are going to be left alone. It's going to start being the middle tier teams that are making changes.
Either way, I'm still hesitant to say this player is on this team until I see a clan tag.
Yeah, it'll be tricky. I mean, for that very reason. So,
oops.
Yeah. It's like they have the potential to be really, really good, or they have the potential to think they're really good and get owned and get really discouraged really, really fast. So,
you know, something else that was brought up. I mean, it was brought up by him was if Root dominates the scene, and we saw it kind of early on in Smite, they dominated the scene for quite some time, and then Curse kind of picked it up. I don't necessarily think it's boring for them to keep winning. I mean, you have to look at it as a business. If they win, you know, 17 months in a row, it's up to these other teams to beat them. It is not up to the players to try and spread these other players out. And, I mean, that's just a point I wanted to touch on. I don't think boring is the correct word for it. I think
stagnant.
I don't really know if there is a word for it. These other teams have to start practicing and get better to take out these top tier teams. I mean,
at the same time,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I just really think that at the same time there are players on these teams who still aren't taking it as a business. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit. I'm sure I'll get slapped for this later by somebody, but let's be honest, Zytheman left a winning team.
Yeah.
Why would you leave a winning team? I mean, granted, you wound up joining another great team, but there's no guarantee in that. I mean, if you really want to take it seriously as a business, then there's no reason for that at all. You guys are winning. Fix it. If there's a problem, fix it. Don't fucking leave. It doesn't make sense. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, there's things that happen. I mean, there's roster changes every day in esports. And I've never even said a word to him, so I don't want to put words in his mouth, and I don't want to say anything that's wrong. But in the statement that the best released is that it's starting to become a chore, that was poor wording, in my opinion. I think when you get to a high level like that, not necessarily it stops becoming fun, but it's gonna be work. It's work that you have to do, and if you don't want that work, then, you know, don't become a top player. Don't play in these tournaments and expect to win. So don't call it a chore. I mean, when you get to that level, it becomes a chore. I mean, that's your job. It becomes your work. So it's just things like that. I think we need a little bit better word choicing on these pros end. But I agree with Scytheman completely.
Yeah, and if you guys want to call us in, or Lionheart, if you have an opinion, please, you can call us in on Smite Talk. Just on Skype, Smite Talk.
Yeah.
You know. I know you guys are having trouble hearing me, but the stream should be able to hear me just fine. It's
when
Demon's keyboard is really clicky.
I think it's an issue with Google Hangouts thinking you're typing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Because it has that built in.
Yeah, so it's a thing. We might have to give Demon a different keyboard if we want to keep doing this, because they can't hear anything I'm saying right now.
There might be a way to turn it off in Google Hangouts. I just gotta stop and look for it.
Yep. But until then, I'm going to go ahead and assume that our panel can't hear anything I say. But
Just bits and pieces.
yeah. So it is what it is. So while they are doing this and doing their thing, Demon, why don't you...
Here, hold on, Krett. Just go back for a second while I try and fix that real quick with the Google Hangouts.
And, another interesting point, which was actually on Smite Reddit, that Spoo actually jumped in the conversation on, was, and it does contribute to these top players switching teams if they choose to. If a team is looking for someone, who are they going to pick up? There's really no place that these teams can go at the moment to find new talent. Let's be honest. Curse right now, they're looking for 2 members.
Go ahead.
They're gonna straight pick people that have a decent, well name. If some kid who was in ranked and has never played, streamed, or is not well known, but may be actually capable, I don't know if they give him a tryout. They're looking for someone that is decently well known, that somebody has played with him before at some point, whether it be a ranked game or a scrim or something, and they'll give him the tryout. And Spoo was basically saying, if I lost a member of my team right now, I have nowhere to go. The rank system is kind of, out of whack right now, so the ratings are a little bit messed up. You can't go based on that. And I don't know where else I would find talent. So when these teams are looking for new players, it kind of has to be the top players that are switching.
Yeah, where you kind of lift someone up from the mid tier, or you pull someone off your friends list or something, but there's no talent.
I wonder if it's a certain key.
There's no what, Krett?
No.
There's no talent.
I think it is because it's doing the same thing for him.
I'm trying to...
Whatever. I think it's...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Love bugs.
Critachelios has it right in chat, though. The only real place for you to look is, like, BLG Casuals, and guess what? That's once a week, and that's a lot of work to sit there and try and pick out players from all those teams.
Yeah. And not only pick out players, but look at their past history, past games, to see if it wasn't just, like, that particular time that they were doing really well, or do they just do really well all the time? So it is hard. We do have the top 200 list, which is moderately useful. The drop-off between number 1 and number 50 is tremendous, but, it is what it is.
The rank system isn't, ideal. It's not perfectly representative of player skill, but if someone's in the top 200, if someone's above 2,000 elo, they're probably going to be able to play on a mid-tier team, and they might be able to play on a top-tier team with a bit.
Yeah, and by the way, I did want to just say, call Lionheart up. He did want to voice his opinion.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I did want to say, the point is that these teams, like Pon would have to do the research. If somebody in these BLG casuals came to him and said, I want to try out for Curse, I think I can do it. Not necessarily saying Pon wouldn't, but my point is I don't think they give him the light of day. I think they may do maybe a scrim or maybe even just say, oh yeah, we'll fit you in, and then kind of get these other guys in that they know and then make their decision. It's just there's a very small pool right now to pick from or a place to pick these players from.
Gotcha. All right, we have Lionheart on the line, everybody.
Hello, Mr. Lionheart.
Can you hear us? No, he can't. Hold on. I will fix this. Options, audio.
Turn up our mic. There you go. Now you can hear us.
All right. Lionheart. Are you there?
We were talking to people. You call them on Revel.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I don't have him on the other one.
Okay.
Hey, Lionheart, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Other people hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, alright. So, I just want to go back to what was being said about players. And I did compliment Spoo in the Reddit. I think that he brought up a good point in terms of ranked perhaps being, at this time, an ineffective tool for looking for new players. I don't think anybody is going to contest that and say that the rank system is in a good spot. I think everybody agrees that there needs to be adjustments to that system, including high res, and I don't know when adjustments are coming, and I made a comment about that in the Reddit. If you guys want to go back, find that. It's not hard to find. But I will say that I don't think it's as grim as everybody makes it look either. There's this kind of mindset going around that, well, you know, we have Curse, or we have Root, or we have, you know, Copenhagen Wolves, or we have SK Gaming. You know, I'm just going to cover the sponsors that first came to mind. But, you know, this idea that, you know, we have a team established, and so the only people we can pick up are people who are known. And so if I've never heard of you, I can't pick you up. I don't have the time to really groom you. And a lot of people are forgetting that so many of the competitive players have been around since last year in June. So they have,
they really have.
You know, the other day, today I was looking at, you know, Matty Pocket's history, for example. Guy has like almost 4,000 games played. And there's a lot of people who don't have anywhere close to that who are displaying significant talent. I've seen a few players who have less than 500 games played who, to me, look like they have promise. They just haven't been able to put themselves into that team scenario where they're getting consistent practice with players who actually know what they're doing to be able to refine their skills and get to that level. There's people who are in the competitive community who nonstop have been playing with each other and stomping pubs, and these people are getting trapped in these games where maybe they're competent, but they have 2 or 3 other teammates who just really don't know what's going on. They're not at that level, and so it's hard for them to improve. And I mean, I could name right now for you at least 5 or 6 people right off the top of my head without even looking at my friends list of players who are not on teams right now, who haven't really been on any teams in the limelight, that are really good. And I'm not ashamed to say that, you know, before Root picked up Anderster, he was one of the people that was on my list as somebody who really wasn't getting the appreciation he deserved from people, that he was really skilled, but again, just hadn't been given the opportunity to really exceed or excel in the way that you know, he's doing now. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that are just,
I want to stop you real quick.
That could really compete if given the opportunity. And they're not hard to find. They're there. You just play.
Go for it, Krett.
Not
Scythe, sorry.
I'm really sorry for cutting you off, Lion. I need to kind of correct that statement. It's not that Andy wasn't given any opportunities or anything, because he showed time and again he was good. It's that he wasn't a streamer and he wasn't on Root or Curse. And that's something I feel really strongly about, that if you're not on Root or Curse, or you don't have a stream, you don't get any respect in this community. Regardless
I don't know that I can agree with that, because part of it was when BLG first came out, BLG.na first came out, and this was back before Vamana. Everybody realized Vamana was OP, and people were banning him. Nobody was banning him. And to be honest, the first person who ever got Vamana banned in a tournament before he had that whole OP string and then got nerfed and now is never used was Anderster. I mean, he was the first person to use it. They banned it against BLG.na because it was so strong, because he was performing with it. And had BLG.na continued to perform the way they had been doing then, where, you know, the team had first come together as BLG.na, you know, you weren't sure where it was going to go, and then it went to BLG.na. The team was really, really performing, and then it kind of dropped off. It didn't stay at that same competitive level. It got passed by other teams, and that's why it fell out of the limelight. The people at Curse Gaming, they weren't always popular streamers. They became popular because that team started winning.
And they became Curse, too.
Correct.
That's a big help. When you have a major organization behind you and retweeting your things and giving you popularity and bumping up your overall exposure, that is a tremendous help. That is, you know, far and away a big thing. When you can get people on the League of Legends side, you go say, hey, check out our Smite team, guys. You know, that's 5,000 people watching a stream right there. You know, some of them are going to come check it out and be like, ooh, this is cool. Yeah. And same thing with Root. You got, now that Root's there, they got their popular streamers. Root's known as a streaming team in the first place with Smite, and they're known as a streaming team in every other game. I mean, they're, you know, like Root Cats and all the different Root players were, you know, big streamers, and that's what they do. That's how they advertise themselves. And so that's why they're getting extremely popular, and it's just running away with that because people keep coming over and they keep seeing the Root and Curse guys, and they're like, yeah, we should watch these guys because they're from reputable organizations or, you know, big name organizations. And, you know, BLG will get its day when we start dominating the scene, but that even I would be willing to put money on the fact that if that started happening, you still wouldn't get the streaming numbers that Root and Curse get.
And I don't think that you'd get maybe necessarily the numbers that Root gets, but you got to understand that Root has a lot of streamers who got in at the right time for the very beginning, built up their following. I mean, there's a couple players in particular on that team who have a large following that will follow them if they weren't on Root Gaming or if they are on Root Gaming. So that's something that's real important to know. Yeah. I mean, Curse Gaming, I feel like almost like this is a little bit of, and forgive me to anybody who I insult, but a little bit of short-sightedness just on the community in general. The same thing where I saw comments going down in chat about, well, really, it's just between, Root and Curse, the best teams, and now Snipe's out there, so these are like the only teams out there. There's a time when EU was by far the best team. It was crushing all the NA teams. And it wasn't that long ago. Maybe it seems that long ago, depending on when you started actually paying attention to what was going on in the scene. But every single team has had their rise. And I can remember not that long ago when Pompon would turn on his stream and get 30 viewers if he was lucky. So It's about performance. It's about showing people something that they want to watch and showing that you are going to be the team that's going to be able to take it. And if you're the team that's consistently beating Root Gaming and Curse Gaming and Copenhagen Wolves, which are the teams that have recently been, kind of at the top of winning some of the competitive events.
And BLG.EU.
There's another big giant. There's another big
right,
giant.
Right. And BLG.EU, but that was the Worth It tournament, which I didn't get to actually.
Here's another big giant.
You should watch
because it ran concurrently.
Yeah, you should watch the finals. They were actually really, really good.
But,
one huge thing, Lion, Smite game. All the guys who are big streamers now all stream on Smite game, and they all stream every day, and they get 900 to 1,000 viewers on Smite game that transfer over to their ship when they go back to their, or at least half, a third goes back to their channel. Like Pon, when did he start getting big? Did it happen before he started streaming on Smite game?
It did actually,
and
Allied is
not like
not like he's got now.
Never been on Smite.
Not
game.
like when he got on Smite game and gets 3,400 viewers because it's Pon on Smite game because people know that he's streaming at that time.
Yeah, but people don't realize that the viewers from Smite game, they don't really transfer over that much onto personal streams. A lot of the people who watch Smite game, and you can just watch a tournament that's not covered on Smite game to know that. You'll see a tournament covered on Smite game, it'll have 2,000 viewers. You'll see the same exact tournament covered on non-Smite game, maybe it'll get 200, maybe.
Yep.
So there are people who just follow Smite.
But it still pushes him up into the popularity ring because people that are streaming on Smite game are more well known in general by the whole of the community, like
everyone,
Pon, everyone that streams. And
but then again, how do you justify somebody like Allied who built up his stream again, never being on Smite game, and he was the same way, used to get maybe 30 viewers.
Well, that runs with running with Root and getting support from the other big streamers saying, go check out Allied, and people tuning into that and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he would get a lot of advertisement from the other guys.
And the same thing. Well, not everyone's going to like every streamer.
Right.
So when they're like, hey, go check out this guy, and they're like, oh, he's really good. I'll watch him. Or, oh, I like him more. Or, oh, that guy sucks. Or whatever. And, a great way to build your stream is just to stream.
Yeah.
And,
you got to stream,
that's
you got to be
how
consistent
you do it.
Is a problem.
You're not ever going to get on Smite game, just like Pompon didn't before. I mean, if he didn't stream, they weren't just going to be like, hey, why didn't you come stream for us? We don't know how you'll do, but sure. That didn't happen. I mean, that's the way it's going to be. If you want to stream, you want to get well known, then you have to stream. That you just have to. And so it'll be interesting to see how Smite game, being like the main numbers for Smite streaming, affects it going into the future.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious to see how that works out, but I'm looking forward to it.
So is there anything else that you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, we haven't had you on in like
forever.
Months. What's going on? How's Lion doing? What are you up to these days?
Work, man.
Work?
Crushing me, dude. Crushing me.
Crushing you under his very chubby little thumb.
Yeah. Is your head still all round and shiny?
It's not shiny right now, actually. I need to cut my hair. I have some hair right now.
Oh, man.
I know that feel.
It grows in too fast. I just want to be real bald where it stops growing. It's such a pain. Ugh. One of these days. One of these days I'll be lucky.
Oh,
no, I don't know. I just really wanted to make that comment about finding new players. Again, there's some talented players out there. It's funny that Cryptic made a comment on it in chat because I actually find Cryptic to be one of those talented players who seems to like to sit in the shadows and not do anything. So you're a scumbag, Cryptic. And there was something else you guys talked about that I wanted to comment on, but unfortunately it's evading me now.
Well, we talked a lot about tournaments, and we talked about...
What do you think of the scene split?
Yeah, the scene split, and
I think the scene split is good. I think it's going to be rough for people at first, and people are going to have to be patient with it. I think it's really good because I can't tell you how exhausting the complaints about server advantage are, and there's no solution to it. It's not something like, hey, we'll just make a server that will be good for everybody. It's not possible. So that's exhausting, and I'm glad to see that that's not going to be on the table, at least for the
non-internationals.
The weeklies, I guess, going forward. I don't know.
What do you think about the like weekly separating regions like this past weekend, where they had the EU and NA exclusives?
Well, it wasn't the NA exclusive.
The NA exclusives, but the EU exclusives.
I mean, I think that they were just trying to say that they were basically trying to, say that this is what we want moving forward, and that's fine. And I don't really think much of it other than that they were on at the same time, which I think was a poor decision. Poor planning, because there's no reason for you to try and split the viewership. It's but it was kind of complicated this last weekend, right? I mean, it was the last ever My Revenge tournament, so people wanted to participate in that on Sunday, and then of course, when else are you going to do it? If you don't do it Sunday, you have to do it Saturday, and at the same time, I think some of the teams, or maybe I shouldn't describe it as teams, some of the individuals on teams are very, very adamant about how they did not like the way maybe Curse handled their complaints in terms of server advantage. And so, I guess what happened last weekend was to be expected. I think it'll be better for the scene if, what's going to be happening moving forward. And I don't know what was talked about today on the show, so I'm not really going to discuss any of that. But I think that moving forward, it will be good for everybody, and I think everybody will be happy with that.
In favor of the Worth It tournament this past Saturday was they did start it at like 9:30 in the morning. So by the time Curse of the Gods came on and actually started playing games, we were in the final. Because I was casting, we were in the finals. So I mean, there was just three more games left.
Started the finals.
Yeah, we just started the finals.
Literally as it started.
But I mean, all you miss out on the Curse tournament was maybe the first round, second round, somewhere around there. It's not like we ran over a horrible bit. It's not like we started at the same time, which is a vast difference. So what'll be good is if we can get it to where we have an EU and NA different days. Be the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys ran up until the semifinals because I checked, because BLG EU had to forfeit because they signed up for both tournaments.
Yeah. Because I know that SK forfeit out the third place match, so they could participate in the Curse tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's just the finals in the Worth It were just so long.
So, Lionheart and the rest of our panel, what do you guys think about the sheer number of new teams that we saw in the Worth It tournament for the EU scene?
And the BLG casual
scene. And the BLG casual scene. I mean, we had just teams come out of the woodwork this past weekend. I was kind of shocked, when we had, 33 teams or something sign up for our casual tournament, and all these new teams for the EU tournament. What do you guys think about all that? We'll go with you, Lionheart, since you are our guest caller first.
I think it's great. I didn't, again, because of the way the Worth It tournament ran with Curse, and because of how little sleep I get from Friday night going into Saturday morning, I didn't actually get to see that tournament. I would have liked to have watched it, but again, there's the conflict with that. So I think it's great that a lot of teams signed up. I did look at the brackets, and as far as casual competitive is concerned, I think that that's really great news, that there's a lot more teams signing up there that are getting ready to compete. I think that many of those teams are going to find it's very different moving from the casual to competitive into, playing against some of these teams that are a bit more seasoned.
Yeah.
But I think that indicates that players are willing to group up, play together, refine their skills, and at least, when they're comfortable enough with it, take a shot at it. And that's really all the scene needs. Everybody wants it to be overnight, 8 awesome teams NA, 8 amazing teams EU, and these are the teams you root for. Yeah, just like the NFL, baby. Woo! And it's just that would be unhealthy if that happened overnight. I'm glad to see that the growth is going slow. I'm glad to see that players are working up courage and grouping up together, and I want that to continue, and I think that casually competitive is a great place for that to start.
Yeah, I mean, we have now sent on 2 teams to the competitive scene as New Breed is now going to not participate in the casual scene anymore because they feel as though they are ready to go up to the next one, just like Quake did for 2 weeks ago. And so that was, it's really cool because the teams are very, I guess, accommodating to the fact that it's a casual scene. We're working on trying to get better. We feel as though we are good enough to move up, so we're going to go ahead and move up and let you guys, keep having fun with the casual thing. And the next team that works their way up and wins a couple times, they'll move out, And so that's just, a great thing.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, Scythe.
Yeah.
Krett.
Scythe, Krett, whichever one wants to jump in there.
Scythe first.
I can't wait to see him in a month. I'm glad we're finally getting the turnouts for the casual, and every time I hear about the numbers for it, it gets me excited that we'll have these teams in the top tier of the scene. I mean, I'm probably the only one in the community that thinks this way, but I don't like free wins, no matter how at what point they are in a tournament or any given time. I like every game to be a challenge because free wins are boring.
Yeah, and a lot of the people in the casual competitive tournament agree with you, because I was doing adminning for that, and I'd have a lot of the teams come on and be like, that was great, thank you so much for running this, and these games would last like 45 minutes, and you could tell, like, looking at the numbers and stuff, that they were close games. So I mean, I'm really excited when our number of teams double.
Yeah. I mean, we averagely sit around 20 to 25, and it jumps up to 33 this week, so I can't wait to see what it does this week.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
All right, what do you think, Krett?
First of all, I love me some casual competitive.
So delicious.
And I really liked the scene split. I really liked seeing the teams fight, EU versus EU, NA versus NA, all the way to the finals. I could tell they were still kind of like, it's like, oh, the finals are international. This sucks. Yeah, but what I'm more excited for is the, EU-NA scene split that I'm hearing rumors about, because I love the EU scene right now. Like, I'm such a big fan of Spray Iron. I'm such a big fan of WearerZero. I don't really know DeCast. But, like, I just love seeing those EU teams face off, because it's such a different play style. It's so cool.
Cool. All
Sweet.
right. All right, Cooper, in your lit cave, what do you got for us?
I mean, like I said, twice tonight, I've always been a fan of the split scene. Not splitting the player base, but the EU versus NA. It's a pretty cool matchup and provides for competitive play when it gets to international tournaments. And just as Lionheart said, I'm glad that the casual competitive tournaments are growing these teams slowly. It's not one or two teams that are pushing their way up and you'll see in the top 5 soon. It's a lot of these teams taking their time and actually strategizing, and they're going to be prepared when they face Root, or semi-prepared. They're actually sitting there for hours upon hours of a day saying, let's come up with these strategies, let's practice these item builds, let's do this. They're not constantly joining casually competitive, as he said, trying to do it overnight. And that's where the difference comes in. This tournament is taking these teams, and they're taking it seriously. They're actually theory crafting their ideas, and that's the main difference that we're seeing, and that's going to make the difference, I think. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a caller who wants to...
I don't know if Lionheart will be able to hear him.
Oh, no, Lionheart won't be able to hear him, but...
Possibly.
All right. If you would mute our stream, sir. All right. What do you got for us?
How you guys doing today?
Doing well.
I just want to say, first off, I don't know how long you guys have been doing the Smite talk for, but it's my first time tuning in.
Great.
Because you called me a first-time caller, first-time Skyper.
Nice.
But it's pretty enjoyable. I really like how you guys are doing like a feedback and the concept of having like a conference call with the real players.
Sure.
It's I definitely enjoy that. So what's the topic of discussion right now?
Right now we are talking about Smite. There's that. We were just talking about.
Bit of a chat.
Yeah, thanks.
Whatever question you want it to be, buddy.
Yeah. You call. You can, like, with the callers, you can call us. You don't have to weigh in on what we're currently talking about. If you want to talk about like anything else, you can. If you want to
how
talk
to
about
play mid.
Yeah, how to play mid, or why Scytheman so sexy.
Sorry to interrupt. I was talking with Lionheart a little bit earlier. My in-game name is Bent Napkins.
Bent Napkins.
Yes.
Right.
Sir.
Yeah, I've seen you around actually.
Yeah, and Lionheart was saying that he wanted to see more mid gods in game, and I was kind of like more interested in maybe if he could elaborate on like how does he mean mid gods? I mean, does he specifically mean gods with the mechanics of like Agni? Or, because, I mean, the last couple gods that have come out have been, like, Apollo, Xbalanque, a lot of the ranged characters can fill the role of mid. Like, I was just more curious of like what he means by like a mid god to be released.
Yeah, I like that question, Lionheart.
Lionheart, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yes, it works.
I thought it, pretty simple, and I said something along the lines of this in the chat. Is it's. I mean, we could go the route and say that really there's lots of people who could go mid, but when it comes down to what's actually played mid right now, what people are comfortable with, I think that generally you see a preference towards casters in mid, magical damage dealers who go mid, because that's the role that accelerates the most from having that solo experience kind of through the mid game. So you see, Agni and Poseidon, for example, will be the two most dominant mid picks if they're not banned out going into this weekend. Guaranteed will be, that's it. I mean, that's kind of the stalemate. Okay, if one of them's not available, maybe I'll run Neath mid, or, maybe if Kali's there, maybe I'll consider that, but usually she's in the side lane now, so maybe I'll run Ao Kwang mid, even though I don't really necessarily want to play him. I'd rather have Poseidon or Agni, but maybe one's not available. I mean, it shouldn't be that way. We're back to that same spot that we were months ago, where it's 2 or 3 casters, and those are the dominant casters mid, and if you don't get one of them, you have to run something that's kind of cheesy because nothing else really works, and it's just a lack of selection for that lane, and it's unfortunate in my opinion, because there are so many great caster kits that have already been invented in other games, and let's not be shy here. There's nothing wrong with pulling resources from other games. You don't have to pull them directly, but you can combine things. You can use what's already available out there to come up with something new and refreshing to fulfill that role, and there's a lot of kits that haven't even been touched in terms of casting. There's casters in the game that are great, could be great casters if they had some, revisions done to them, but that's not being done either. And so I think that, it's been a long time since we've seen a really true mid-roll release. I think the latest one you could get away with is Aphrodite, and pretty much every person I've talked to in the competitive scene, when I say play her mid, just screams at the top of their lung like I've just stabbed them with a fork. I mean, they
get out of my house.
I feel like though,
I think Poseidon was pretty recent though. I think
Poseidon was afterwards. But I mean, think about it. That was Poseidon releases on the heels of nerfs to other viable mids, so that they can't really go mid anymore, right? I mean, what are we doing here? Are we rotating? What are we really doing?
I think the biggest thing is like people keep finding things that are like they're pick every game because it works and you can't outright beat it. Like, I think there's still things that people need to try. Like, Kibo's been buffed 2 patches in a row now. I still haven't seen anybody even attempt to play him mid.
Where is her?
Did he?
Yeah, Where did it?
I missed
the Worth It
it.
tournament.
My bad.
He was
My
so
bad.
good.
I missed
Except for that one ult in the top 5.
But yeah, like it's not so much a lack of viability, it's a lack of people being willing to try new things. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think we have plenty of gods that are mid-viable, Kaufbacher. But it's just people aren't willing to play anything that's even remotely unsafe, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, but it's crazy because it's the same people who say there's plenty of stuff for mid that will also go back to Agni Poseidon and not do anything else mid. So, I mean, clearly there's a problem there, either with the balance of the existing characters that are supposed to go mid or who players think are viable mid, or there's a problem with the lack of selection because of kit design, or because of there's just not enough characters that really fulfill that role. I mean, it's easy to theorycraft and say, well, I'm playing in a pub, I can play anybody mid, I can Sobek mid, why not? And then to take that into the competitive scene and actually be able to beat somebody who's competent on Poseidon or Agni as your opponent. I mean, it just doesn't seem to be happening.
As you say that, I guess I should mention at the same time, I say, because there's a lot of things that I personally would run mid and I think would be great mid, but at the same time, a lot of them just get outright beat by Agni Poseidon, and that's the truth of the matter. Is those kits are really just so well put together, they blow a lot of more
interesting picks.
Yes, interesting picks straight out of the water.
Yeah. Right, and I agree with you, and I think Anubis is a great example. Who, I was so scared one game like last month or something. Somebody instantly selected Anubis and said, "Does anybody want this?" As though it was a high tier pick, and I just, oh my gosh, I almost dodged. But seriously. That's Anubis is a great example of somebody who's, I think, very clearly designed for the middle lane, but just can't hack it. And I just would like to see if we're not going to put resources towards designing new magical casters, again, with the exception of Poseidon, as you said, he was kind of recent, or we're going to take out magical casters that are good in middle. We're just going to outright remove their capability to lane middle, i.e. Ra, although I did see a successful Ra actually last week. It was either last week or the weekend before that go mid. I was pretty impressed.
But let's be real, though. Ra was ridiculous.
That there needs to be either relooking at these kits or characters need to be released that could fulfill these roles until you have time to relook at these kits.
I think
I agree with Lionheart on that one, and the first one on the list needs to be Zeus, because, I just think he's outdated.
Absolutely.
I've never liked Zeus's kit, but he gets competitive play, which is the problem.
Go for it, Scytheman.
I'm not satisfied with Zeus's kit, but at the same time, his kit is really strong. You just have to be willing to make sacrifices to use it. Yeah. At the same time, I definitely agree with you, Lionheart. Some of these, or a lot of these, not Poseidon, Agni mages need changes to make them viable, because right now, like, there are limiting factors to them, and that's the truth of the matter. Is there's things with their kits that limit you for the sake of being balanced, and if you added too much to them, they'd be outright overpowered. Yeah. But at the same time, I think what we see is that these gods with the kits that can do a little bit of everything just straight outclass them. Because while the ones that we're calling underpowered right now have very specific kits and what they need to be doing, the lack of options is what keeps them from being strong. And that's a problem I really don't understand how to fix myself.
Yeah, it is tricky. Especially mid lane. It's always going to be tricky to design a god mid lane that would excel at that role that won't be absurdly strong in any other role. Because, how many mid laners are there, with few exceptions, that are just terrible solo lane inside lanes?
A lot.
Which ones?
Mid laners that are terrible in side lane?
Yeah. Like Ao Kuang is a good example, I think.
I think Ao Kuang's terrible in side lane. I don't think Anubis has any place in a side lane. I have to pull up the Smite god list.
Yeah.
I would say...
Yeah, I don't think Anubis has any place.
The only one I'm really comfortable with in the side lane, certainly Agni and Ra had their day in side lane, so did Hebo. And maybe still do, and just people aren't running it. But
sure. Well, Ra's the heal, so he's always good with a partner.
Like Hell side lane, ugh.
It's a little risky.
Let's not even talk about that.
It's been done, but ugh.
I still think Hebo is extremely viable in the side lane if he's with Guan Yu. That's my personal opinion, though.
I think Hebo needs a ton of peel to be in the side lane, because otherwise you're just going to get hit by a kill comp. You're going to get a Thor Bacchus on your face, and then good luck.
Yeah.
I think Agni, Ra, Hebo, and Poseidon can all side lane very easily, and I think as a last pick, maybe you could pull off Anubis. Maybe. And that's giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I agree.
It's just that there goes so much into protecting that Anubis, though. It's not even worth it.
So. Well, if you remember, when I first joined BLG, we had KO running it for, I think, 2 weeks, and it worked out pretty well. So it's not unheard of. It's just...
unorthodox.
A lot goes into protecting him.
So, just to clarify, for these new gods, or these new mid gods you want to see, it's not necessarily fresh material. It's you want gods that have kits that equally are well put together, like Poseidon and Agni.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that in just terms of creep clearing, sustainability, or what? High damage?
It's different. I think that they serve different roles. You take a look at Agni. Certainly, he has the potential to burst, but it's much more utilize my skill shots. He doesn't have that 2-second stun that he had back in June, which was ridiculous. It takes a bit more to get the job done as opposed to a Poseidon, who, if your opponent doesn't have Aegis and they're let's say 2/3 health, you're going to burst them down from full to none if your passive's up. So it's just there's different kinds of, casters. There could be a poke caster, which arguably, if you put Aphrodite mid, that's all she can do is poke. There's different kind of kits that are available that just aren't really in the game, or they're in the game but they're one off. Like Poseidon. Poseidon's really the only character that kind of has that guaranteed, if I hit you with all 3 of my spells burst, you're dead. I guess, maybe Alquan, but he doesn't have the crowd control to really guarantee that the combination the way Poseidon does.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Bent Napkins, for your call.
Oh, yes, sir. Enjoy, guys. Have a nice night.
Thanks. You too.
Thanks.
Just to follow up a little bit on Lionheart, I think there are a few key elements that you can say about what makes a good mid, and it varies a lot, but generally good mids are going to have strong early wave clear. Like Agni can clear waves really early, so can Poseidon. They're going to have strong positioning. And so, like, Agni can move with his dash, Poseidon's really fast. Hell, you just really don't want to be anywhere near her. Same with Ra and its heal. And then they kind of have to transition over and be really useful in team fights and whatever, because this is going to be your most farm player. Like, unless a side lane is doing really well, and then you probably won anyway, you're going to have your most farm player in mid. And so you want someone useful there. And that's why Agni and Poseidon are so good, because they can blow up whole teams.
It's your most farm character going into the mid game, but a lot of that can change based on how your team fights turn out. And I think that's the idea, is that usually you send a caster mid because they shine more. Most casters, with the exception of, let's say Hebo, for example, who has really low cooldowns. Most casters, they have their abilities and then that's it. And that shines the most in the mid game. Late game, when team fights are dragged out or it's more about sustained auto attack damage, a caster uses his entire kit and then they don't really have much left.
Yeah.
They have to survive for a while to be able to get those cooldowns back up and use a kit again. So, and I'm not convinced that you necessarily need to be a great wave clearer. Before Loki received his 33% scaling nerf to aim strike, he was doing just fine in middle lane, not maxing his wave clear and getting kills and playing aggressive early on. So I think there's room for kits, and to compare it to another game, League of Legends, Kassadin comes to mind, somebody who doesn't have great wave clear early on, but can be tough to deal with in the middle lane, at least in previous seasons. I don't know what the meta is right now, because of his ability to be an anti-caster, if you will, as a caster. And so I think there's a lot of types of kits that just simply aren't in the game right now by design.
Yeah, and there's also a few other things you can do with that. I'm going to interject here because we could go on with this for hours. There's a few more things kit-wise and item-wise I want to talk about. One, I want to talk about Motivate, and I want to talk about Blink. Because that impacts lanes tremendously, especially right now since they're new. What do you guys think about Motivate, first off? Krett.
Good job, high-res, slow clap.
Yep.
That's
even Bard said on DSI the other day yesterday that
the other web show, one of the other shows we do.
One of the other several shows I run, that it is kind of causing a little bit more stagnant play, so they're going to take a look at it and see possible changes, but don't expect them extremely fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
Today I queued into a game with DM Brandon and a friend of his, and they were running Motivate, Double Motivate, and then Girdle and Hog, Raw Hell side lane. And they took the inner tower in 5 minutes. I hate Motivate. And it's not because it's really strong at pushing. I hate it because it turns creeps into fire minions, and you can't fuck with fire minions. Like, I've had games where I went 1v2 side lane Raw, and I'd get jumped on by both players, and then I make 3 fire archers and stand in my heal, and they die, because you don't fuck with fire minions. And I think that's the issue with Motivate, is that it's too good at killing players. The push is fine, because push is an all-in. Like, if you're buying Motivate to push towers, you're wagering that you can do enough with the tower goal you get early
and experience
in order to transition well into the mid game and win despite not having other abilities. But when that ability can also kill players because fire minions do so much damage, I think that's the issue.
Yeah. All right. So go for it, Coop.
There's been several games where I'll be mid and I'll be winning my lane by like level 4, and he'll go back and instead of buying, his next item or level 2 boots, he'll buy Motivate. And he comes back and he starts, tying it up a little bit. And I just scream. because that pisses me off.
You don't go back and buy your own Motivate and just counter it?
Oh, I do. I play that game, but that's everything Krett said. Just I agree.
Yeah, you don't.
Also motivate and joust.
Yeah,
Get out.
motivate and joust. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Level 3, fire archers. Bring it on.
Lion, what do you think of Motivate?
I didn't like promoting in League of Legends. I don't like motivate and smite. I don't think that's a mechanic that brings anything useful or any kind of depth to the gameplay. The design by nature is meant to push towers and give you that extra lane presence. But I don't think that that's helpful to the genre. I don't think it's necessary. And honestly, any kind of ability that's like that in any game, I would see removed if I had to say.
No.
But you can still hog motivated creeps, right? And they'll kill them one shot.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that it doesn't have any counter to it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there aren't ways to handle it. I'm saying it brings nothing useful to the genre. It's not an enjoyable mechanic. It's not fun for players. It's just kind of this annoying mechanic that just seems to be, game by design, game developers just keep trying to kind of throw it into this game type, and I don't think it needs to be in this game type. I don't think it's useful.
Yeah.
All right.
There's got to be some type of, in my opinion, controlled content in the game. And what I mean by that is last week we were on the conversation of powerful recalls or powering up your recalls. I think creeps and recalls are two things that you don't need to buff up. If you're recalling, you're going back to buy your items and you're going back to lane or to heal up, whatever. You're already getting stronger by buying those items. And then the same thing with creeps. There's no reason to buff your creeps unless you're doing it in a direct result of skill level, which the skill would be taking Phoenix. That's buffing up your creeps. You don't need to buff them up anymore. So
Interesting. All right. Did you guys have any more to say? Go for it, Scythe.
I'm kind of wondering, just listening to this and seeing what I've seen in the past couple of weeks, is the PTS still running?
No.
Because
No.
I think this might be like if we're tossing stuff like shielded recall and blink and motivate, and we're making these big changes again. It might be a good idea to.
I say it every day to myself.
Some form of controlled PTS again.
Yeah, it would be reasonable. Maybe where they can take these new active abilities and put them out in various forms, and so they can change it day by day and see how it drastically changes the opinion of it.
The problem
they have to get the
PTS,
resources to be able to do it, though.
Yeah.
The problem with the PTS is that people will take whatever's on the PTS and assume that that's going to be what's next coming into the game, because most of the time that is. And so nobody plays the regular game then. They all just play on the PTS. And then people who don't know the PTS exists are like, why is the quality gone down? Why am I not getting matched? Where are all the players?
Yeah.
The game's dying. I'm out. And it's like, we're in beta. There's going to be changes. Look. We just got done talking about earlier ranked and how, most of us hope that ranked does not remain the way it is now. At some point, they're going to have to make changes to that and implement that. And that's going to be a test, and it could be just the same as it is now, in terms of satisfactory level, and needs to be redone again. And I just think that while they have that advantage of the game not actually being released, even though to all of us it feels released, might as well just put it on one server and leave the PTS dead until they start doing seasons. If they do seasons like League of Legends, where they can bring it back and then show you a preview for season 2 or something like that, where there are sweeping changes at that time. And hopefully, when the game actually launches, sweeping changes, assuming any more are going to be made, stop.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Slow down greatly.
All right. So we've had Blink for a little while, and I've seen some really fun stuff with it. I want to know your guys' opinion on Blink, and the chat can join in on this too. What do you think? And we're gonna go different, and we're gonna start with Cooper.
I had that in my head already. I knew you were going to do that. I haven't had a chance to play this past week, so I can't comment competitively. But it seems something that isn't too broken in my opinion. I think it's pretty balanced. Everyone can get it. I'm not even going to touch on the fact or whether or not it should be in combat, out of combat, whether the seconds should be high or not. I just think the idea of it is okay. I think it's fine for the game. I think it allows those gods that aren't able to get into the fight to get in there and really be a little bit more useful than they were. Not talking about Ares or Ymir. They were already pretty useful at that point, but then maybe some changes need to be done to it, maybe not. But I think it's generally okay for the game.
All right, great. What do you think, Scytheman?
I'm okay with it. I've been saying it from the start. Obviously I haven't played, but the way they implemented it was really good. I think of all the active they implemented, this one came out kind of spot on. The only thing I want to see is, again, just like Board said yesterday, we need a sound cue for it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Some sort of
a sound cue or some visual cue, or like we were thinking, like the Nightcrawler thing, where
it's just like Bard said, the visual cue isn't going to
be as useful as the sound cue would be.
Yes, because 9 times out of 10 you're not going to see the
them
blink,
anyway.
And even if you do, you're gonna assume, just based off them jumping instantly, you're gonna think lag before you think blink, even if there's a visual cue attached to it.
Yeah.
Unless it's something completely overwhelming. But the sound cue, you'll instantly recognize it because you'll recognize and react to sound before you react to an animation 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, like making something as audible as Loki's, knives and his ultimate and stuff like that, to where it's very obvious when it's happening. That'd be something good.
Yeah. All right. What do you got for us on this one, Lionheart?
It's too cheap for what it is. It's way too cheap for what it is. I don't have a problem with the mechanic in the game. I don't know how you necessarily fix it. I mean, there's ways you could fix it for what it does, but I think 6 seconds out of combat. What's the cooldown on it? Like 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
90 seconds.
For 250 gold, it's too cheap.
Yeah,
I think that it's got to lose some of those numbers, or both of those numbers need to go up. For how cheap it is. The reason that mechanic is balanced in other games is because it's also very expensive in other games where the distance is much shorter, i.e. for the first one Dota, for the second one League. And it's too good for 250 gold. I like the sound change that the people are talking about. I think that needs to be there, but I also think there needs to be other changes. That said, in the scrims I've been watching all week, it has not been an issue for players. It's been rarely purchased. Maybe it'll be on one person per team, sometimes two. It's not like, in pubs people will buy anything, but I mean in the actual scrims it's not spreading to all 5 characters. So, maybe I'm wrong in that aspect, but I think for what it is, it's too cheap.
I have a feeling that how Blink is working, and I'll get to you, Krett. Blink is going to be, like you're saying, in the scrims and the tournaments, kind of on the lower end of use until some team finds an exceptionally good use for it and dominates a tournament because of it. There's a lot of really obvious options that you can do with Blink, like Ares or a Ymir that can teleport, and those are scary. But there's a lot of other things that people haven't explored yet, especially for team fights and team comps, and things that are going to require a lot of practice. So
coordination too.
Yeah. So what I foresee with Blink is, I hope they don't change the distance. The first thing I think they're going to change is a sound cue and maybe give it more cooldown, maybe 120 seconds instead of 90, because 90 is pretty much any team fight you're ever going to be in, unless you just used it. It's a minute and a half.
Try and make it to where maybe you'll skip a team fight or two in between using it, so you can't use it every time you go in.
Yeah, well, 120 seconds seems more reasonable. As far as the cost, I'm not sure how that'll work. That'll be a hard one to balance, especially since all the others cost that.
I think they like keeping all the active items the same price.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, Krett, what do you got for us?
I love Blink. I buy it on every god except for Bacchus, because I need meditation on Bacchus because I'm, bad. But every other god I buy it and I make it useful. Blink on Loki? Yeah. Blink on Hel? Sure. Blink on Sobek? Terror. I love it, and I buy it on every god.
What do you use it for?
Everything.
Initiation?
Initiation, yeah. I use it, so for like Wukong, instead of jumping in, I'll blink it. For Loki, I'll use this as a secondary ult. Doesn't give me the burst, doesn't give me the crowd control, but it gets me there instantly. really good for catching people. On Sobek, blink into tail whip into pull is really good. Or if someone ganks me, because a lot of times I'll be like split pushing or something. I see a team coming because I, sometimes buy wards sometimes. And, you're just coming at me, it's about to freeze me, just blink over his head and I'm safe. It's really good if you get away a little bit and then you can stay away from them for 6 seconds, you can blink out and you're gone. I love blink about on every god, and I will make it useful on every god.
Yeah, it gives you, if you get out of combat and you're escaping or you see people coming, because you can blink through walls, it gives you a lot of options.
Gives you a much larger safety net if you can stay out of combat for 6 seconds.
There's only so much, like, say you're running around past Fire Giant and people are running after you and you don't have a jump or escape. And as far as I know, it's kind of hard to jump into the Fire Giant anyway from the outside. But you could blink in there, and by the time they can go around, you can very safely back, or even just run out. I mean, there's a lot of areas on the map that you can teleport through that you wouldn't have been able to jump. So, I think it's really interesting in that regard as well. So,
by the way, you just made me think of something. Can I just say,
yeah,
it totally bothers me that you can't get behind the Fire Giant. You can get behind big objectives and almost all the other ones. I would like to be able to stand behind the Fire Giant.
I agree.
Yeah,
I've been saying for months they need to move him up like 10 feet and he'll be fine. Like, why is he backed against the wall? That's what I don't understand. Why can't he just stand in the middle of the pit?
You used to be able to get behind the Fire Giant as Loki. You could walk through him with Vanish, and as Arachne, you could get on his head and then fall behind him. But I don't know.
It was never a thing you wanted to be behind him because of
you would be stuck back there.
I want him to be moved up so that when I make the decision to step behind him, it's for a purpose.
At the same time, when people go and stand behind the Gold Fury and they're like, "Oh, I'm behind the Gold Fury," that would be even more annoying with the Fire Giant.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the gig. And it's fun shooting them behind the Gold Fury because they keep dodging back and forth, and you just keep picking them on the sides and like, stop moving. I'll keep shooting you.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. We have a question from my caller. It's about gods and tournaments in Nezha. So if Nezha is allowed in this tournament, which they will be,
is Nezha allowed this week?
Yeah, it's been a week, right?
Isn't it usually 2 weeks?
They usually do 2 weeks. It's usually
until the next release.
Yeah.
I talked to the admins today about the admins from Curse of the Gods about this today, and my understanding, at least for that tournament, is that there's a good probability that he will be available.
Great.
Okay.
They talked about some kind of vote, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I think they did a vote because of all the new abilities and whatnot and the balance issues, and they just kind of tossed Nezha on there with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think Nezha's likelihood of appearance is as an AD, and if you do think he will appear, what other gods would he replace?
Possibly,
like Loki's or other things,
or will they pick
Kali's?
Him if the other team, one team gets a Loki? Will they pick him at Nezha as a I don't know, counter? Not really counter, but as a replacement for Loki because they couldn't necessarily get Loki.
What do you guys think?
Scythe, go first.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I haven't personally seen anybody practicing too extensively with it. I'm sure all the assassin players have familiarized themselves with Nezha at this point. That being said, I haven't heard anybody particularly liking Nezha that much, and I haven't had my hands on it, so I can't say one way or another if it's truly comparable to Loki, but I'm sure if they wanted a Loki and he got picked, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody went to Nezha, or if somebody had some hidden Nezha strat in their back pocket that they're waiting on.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Did anybody else want to
Lionheart
weigh in? You don't have to. I'm just curious if anyone else wants to weigh in on that one.
Sure, I'll throw my 2 cents in. You first, Lionheart. You have a nicer shaped head than I do.
both beautiful men. We're both beautiful men. You got the Captain Morgan beard thing kind of going on, though, man. I don't know, dude.
I'm in finals week.
Anyways, I think it'll get used. I don't think it'll be used that much. It's kind of what Scytheman was talking about. Just nobody seems to be super pumped about him. It seems that there's kind of a general confusion about how to use him in certain scenarios. I mean, I think everybody knows, in the laning phase, if you can get 2 people away from their creep and bounce the one between them, oh my god, it's amazing. But at the same time, when it comes down to sort of the team fight with him, well, it tends to be a little bit more difficult because so much of his damage is auto attack, and who's going to let you just auto attack them?
Yeah.
So.
One interesting little fact that we learned from Bart yesterday was that his number 3 is actually broke right now, in the sense that it's not doing enough damage.
Yeah, it's supposed to be doing way more damage.
It's bugged. And so, but the reverse effect of that is that, what was he, Krett, you were there too, was he saying that the 4th proc of his combo is, it's hitting them as, regular damage, so they're doing life steal?
Damage where it should be hitting them as spell damage.
So basically what he's saying is that the cleave from the 4th hit should kind of work more like Poseidon, where it's not a real cleave, it's not like the Bacchus or ult cleave, but instead it's actually your auto attacks hit multiple targets, instead of your auto attack hits one target and then, mirrors damage. It shouldn't be doing auto attack damage to all the targets. It should be doing auto attack damage to one target and then doing the same damage in a different form to the other targets.
And so you're getting the extra lifesteal due to that particular bug.
Yeah, in other MOBA terms, the cleave attacks proc on hit effects, and they shouldn't.
Yes. The cleave proc on hit, if you read Poseidon's text, it says the other ones don't proc on hit effects. That's how Neja should work, but doesn't.
So, basically, in layman's terms, when they fix him, his 3 damage will go up, but he'll get less healing from it if he has lifesteal. Or his overall lifesteal will decrease.
Yeah.
So, interesting little tidbit. So he might not survive as long, but he'll still do more damage.
My opinion on Neja is that he fills the same role that Loki sort of refined. And I'd say Arachne kind of fills the same role as Loki, but they're pretty damn different at it. But it's like saying Honor fills the same role as Artemis. They're very different gods. That said, I don't think people have really figured out how to use Neja. Right? Like when Loki was released, people didn't really start using him until was it Shang? I don't know. Either way, it'll probably be a while, and then someone's going to come in with Neja and demolish, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. All right. Go for it, Lion. No.
What?
We already asked Lion.
Yeah, I was like, wait, did I miss a question?
Something on. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not paying attention, man. Come on. Step up.
I was actually looking at something else. I was like, maybe legitimately I missed something.
It's all right. It's all right. All right.
There's a war going on in my house.
Yeah, there's craziness going on outside. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to cover? We have one other caller here, and I was going to wrap it up with that and start to do our ending stuff. Is there any other topics that our panel here wants to cover before we start our
looking at our
downstroke?
list of topics, we didn't really talk about Fenrir at all, so we do want to talk about
Warwick.
What do we have for Fenrir?
What do we have for Fenrir? We have a picture.
And we can take bets on how many people are going to call him Warwick.
Yeah.
And if he's going to be a quadruped.
Wow, I'm so
quadruped
dumb.
or a
I
biped.
was thinking he was alluding to fucking Rengar. I'm such an idiot.
You have not seen the picture yet.
Yeah, we're going to post it in chat for you guys to come have a look.
If you haven't seen it, there
it's
it is.
a really great picture.
It is. It's
like,
supposed to be a render.
I want a poster of this.
Who said the Rengar?
That's Krett. Honestly, I think me and
Shame
Lasses
on
have to have a
you.
stupid off.
Nobody knows who Rengar is.
What's a Rengar? I quit
Only people who
League.
made it around to Season 3.
I quit League 10 months ago. What are you talking
Season
about?
2, I think. I don't know. I just watched it in the finals.
He might have made it in Season 2, actually. I don't remember now. Time blends together when you're...
I don't play League. Shit.
So, what is our...
It came out during Smite, that's all I know.
With Fenrir, what does
Exactly.
our chat think his role is going to be? I'm going to guess not a magical tank.
I suggested that just because
Not a magical tank.
Like when we're
good. We're
we
good
all saw
on magic
Ares.
tank.
We all looked at Ares, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Ares, the god of war. He's totally going to be like a physical tank or some sort of physical, obviously awesome damaging dude." And everybody's like, they said magical tank, and people just faced desk and then rolled their face on the keyboard and kept beating.
Didn't everyone think
We
Cupid was
got our
going to be a
hopes up
support player?
and chains.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he has a giant shield and a giant sword and chains. He must be physical. No.
No.
Yeah, so I'm predicting he's going to be a magic tank just because they want to throw this.
Dude, he's going to be a magic carry, obviously.
Yeah.
He's obviously a ranged 80 tank support.
Assassin.
Ranged 80 tank support assassin?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to have a mode switch like hell. He goes tank and assassin.
Fenrir, it better be the second coming of release Guan Yu.
I do agree with Crunchy. Maybe a magical assassin would be pretty cool. Do we have any magical assassins yet?
No.
Sure.
Maybe Freya.
We could use one. I actually think that's most likely maybe what he'd be because, to be honest, for some odd reason, Hi-Rez has kind of a pattern of releasing the same role back to back. So I'm just gonna go with that magical assassin.
Yeah, magical assassin. That would be cool. I'm not sure where the magical part would come in, but he's a wolf. He does have a big bite. We know that.
He's the Akali, dude.
He's going to be Pac-Man.
Yeah, he's gonna be Pac-Man.
He's the Akali of Smite.
He hits you and you drop little circles, and every time he bites a circle, it does damage to you.
That would be horrifying.
Little circles on the ground. Occasionally,
Wait, isn't that Zack? I think you're getting Pac-Man confused with Zack.
Oh, goodness.
Nope.
Based on the data mining, his skills don't really sound magic. They sound very physical.
Neither do Akali's skills if you take a look at her kit, but they are, I promise you.
Yeah.
What the hell is that noise?
Is someone
Krett,
sawing wood?
doing?
Oh, sorry, I was spinning a nail.
So it's like,
Are you spinning a nail or trying to cut your desk in half?
No, it's a nail, see? No.
of course it's a nail. What else would it be?
Now stick it in your eyeball. I mean,
No, don't.
just
Don't
swallow
do
it.
it.
No, just,
No.
This
Magnets
is a
are bad.
idea.
yes, cover it in
How do magnets
electricity,
work?
or cover it in copper wire, then attach it to a battery, and then stick it in your computer, and we'll be good.
Yes. Yeah, Guan Yu's abilities are very physical looking too, and look what they did with him.
Yeah. So, Lion, what do you think he's going to be?
I think he's gonna fulfill the same role Akali does, which is a magical assassin.
Okay.
I'm probably wrong, but that's what I think it's gonna be.
Cooper, what do you think?
Magical melee.
Magical melee.
Yeah, I agree.
Whatever it is, it can't be obvious with how he looks. That's all we've learned from Hi-Rez thus
Now,
far.
when it comes out in the
another
first
thing I would like to...
that Hi-Rez actually did 100% obvious, we're all going to sit here and facepalm.
So I'm thinking AD healer. Yeah,
Ooh.
Physical heal.
Yes.
Exactly.
He,
AD heal.
yeah.
That'd be incredibly broken.
The Aphrodite of ADs.
Yes. AD Aphrodite. There we go.
Although one thing I will say, I think should be obvious, he should do a lot of damage with his hands, because if you look at the picture, his front claws are a lot sharper than his rear claws.
A lot smaller too.
Yeah, well, they're longer and thinner.
And even if you're on 4 or 2 legs, at what point are you gonna kick somebody or scrap somebody with your hind claws?
Wukong does it. Wukong does it.
Wukong's a monkey who flips around everywhere. Your argument is invalid.
Well, I mean, maybe what he could do is he could be like, you ever had your cat where they grab on something and scratch with their back legs? I mean, he could jump on you and scratch you with his back legs, or
he could just bite your face off.
No, he jumps on you, grabs your head with his mouth, and then scratches you with his back claws. Totally gonna.
Hey, if any of you have the draft on, tell me who the Colts pick.
Yeah, so good.
I'm refreshing Twitter like nonstop right now, trying to figure it out.
You know, it auto updates.
Yeah, but that's just too slow for me.
Anybody got time for that?
All right, we have one more caller here.
Yeah, and then what I think we'll do is we'll jump.
I'm
into,
sorry, I have to answer this.
A end of show game where we get into the mumble and kind of play with the community guys after we finish the show.
Lionheart, they picked up Bojorn Werner.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh my god.
Bojorn Werner.
Pretty sure that's pronounced Bjorn.
Yeah, that's definitely Bjorn.
It's pronounced however I want it to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Colts picked up Bjorn
Do you drive
Werner.
a Porsche too?
He will soon. He will soon. All right. So, Mr. Honey Badger, what is your question?
Revel.
He's not there yet.
Okay, cool.
He's still waiting to answer.
Yep. Okay, so, nothing for you, sir.
Oh.
What? What?
You come off like oh, fine.
You didn't answer.
He just obviously wasn't making any. Tisk.
Dude, call me up again.
It's my man, Dope.
Dope,
Honey Badger!
So, while we're getting all this, we do a bunch of other shows, too. On Wednesdays, we do a community show and a all DSI
All
action
esports show.
Esports show.
Yeah, basically we have the competitive and the casual shows.
Yep, on Wednesdays, because we are glutton for punishment, and we like to do more in one day than we
Don't
should.
say we like you join in for that.
I know. I was saying we as in BO Gaming.
Yeah, we as in BO Gaming.
Yep,
Right,
we as in BO
exactly.
Gaming.
More like me as in me. Man, I want to stream something that's not a show soon. That's why I'm with this Thursday thing. I'm like, I want to do a show that involves playing the game because I never get to play the game on stream.
It's
no
okay.
fun.
I'll give you a hug.
I just get to sit there and talk all the time. People love to hear my amazing voice all day long. Isn't that right, Lionheart?
That and your beard.
You know, speaking of playing the game on stream, on Fridays we do a thing called Friday Night Pickups, where you get a bunch of people in Mumble. That's mumble.blgaming.com. No port, you don't have to put it in. And we swap up all the teams and assign everyone randomly, or like do team captains and picks or something. And then we just scrim each other. It's a lot of fun. And y'all should come and hang out and play some games.
Yeah, we do stuff every night. Yes. It's lots of fun. So just check us out every night, even if nothing's going on. Go Scythe.
Quit interrupting Scythe.
Go Scythe.
Krett is the best free ad placement you've ever had.
Yes, Krett is the best free ad placement you've ever had for anything.
Yeah,
if you want to sell toothpaste, just put it on his head.
Yeah. He's got so
also,
much
Tuesday's a
displayable.
karaoke night. We need more people. Let's go.
Yeah. Also, just saying, Krett streams from 1 to 4 on BLG.na on the weekdays.
Yeah,
too,
but I'm boring. Don't watch me. Watch Sprayer instead.
Yeah, watch Sprayer instead.
Yeah. Don't watch our guy. What the heck's wrong with you people?
But Sprayer is so awesome. But he's going to join in the fight night.
He's got so much swag.
I know.
He does. He's so hot. Oh my god. What?
More importantly, Tuesday nights, karaoke night.
Okay.
Let's go.
Karaoke night on Tuesdays.
For the longest
we
time,
play
for the longest
and
time,
we do karaoke.
Nobody ever saw Sprayer. I've been hanging out with Sprayer since Smite was the thing, or since it went into beta, and he finally got a webcam like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my god, it's the guy I always hear but never see, and it's those things. I like seeing people after not seeing them for months and months, and you're like, oh, you're a lot different than I thought you were. So
he looks half American. He really does.
Plays mind games, dude. He was messing with me during the tournament last weekend.
Say that again?
Sprayer is actually Keanu Reeves. I don't know if you guys realize this. He actually is.
Okay.
He plays mind games.
Yes, he does.
He was messing with me during my broadcast last weekend, trying to tell me that Copenhagen Wolves won the last weekly, and trying to confuse it with the monthly and mess with my brain.
Did he succeed?
He did, actually. I was ready to make a public announcement. The chat saved me. I was about to be like, on the chat was like, no, you actually said it right. That guy's a troll. No, you're right. He is. Secret's out.
So troll. Troll.
I agree.
All right, but yeah, check us out at blgaming.com. We have a lot news. We have great forums. We have great guys that stream for us.
We post things as soon as they come out.
Yeah, if
the
there's
top
any
right corner where it on the front page where it says up to the minute news, it's not kidding. If there's something that's newsworthy, we post it as fast as we can.
Yeah, it's really everything major that happens. You will find that there, and generally speaking,
kind of like the Mafia of Smite.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Mafia
we
Smite.
like to
only
go
we
in
don't
there
have
and break
any
your knees.
bats to break the
We'll
knees
break your
with,
legs.
so we use trout.
Right.
Really big trout.
So Lionheart, then where can we find you at? When you do things?
Yeah. What are you up to these years?
You guys could find me in the back of some attorney's office. No, seriously though, you guys can find me on Twitter. It's probably the best way to reach me if you ever need to reach me. Twitter.com/Lionheart spelled with a 10.
Lionheart with a 10.
You could just look up the Smite hashtag, actually, and I think I pop up there also. But otherwise, yeah, you guys see me during the weekday. I'll be on the Smite Game channel covering the Curse of the Gods tournament. This is the last Curse of the Gods tournament this Saturday, and then things are changing is, I guess, the rumor moving forward. Wish somebody would keep me in the loop so I would know what's going on. Or maybe I do and I'm just a good actor. But yeah, so I'll be covering whatever tournament's going on in the future every Saturday, and so I appreciate you guys tuning in then. And then the only time I stream now is Friday nights on my Twitch channel, which you can just click on my name in chat to find. Every Friday night, I consume some kind of alcoholic beverage and act stupid.
So what you should do is join us for the Friday night fights.
I should actually.
Yeah, just
Although
join.
I'm kind of dedicated to Doom Princess's ARAMs, which for some reason I always think is only going to be like 1 or 2 ARAMs, and it ends up being like 3 hours of ARAM.
I'm sorry, that's why,
which is like 1 or 2 ARAMs, depending on.
That's what happens with ARAMs.
Yeah, it
it's 1 or 2 ARAMs if you're EU.
They all get pit tanks randomly.
Oh boy!
All tanks versus all heal team.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where you guys can find me. And thanks to everyone who tunes in and supports this show. Show's been around a while. Can I even speak? Around a long time. It's kind of a cornerstone of this community, and I hope it stays that way for many years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoa. Years now. Maybe we'll keep mixing it up then.
hey, if you find something else crazy to do, you just put Coop on. He's interesting. Look at him. He just says he has the same face the whole show.
unless he gets up and runs away.
Yeah,
for random reasons.
Sometimes he'll get up and throw down his headset and run out of the room.
Exactly.
Just like that. It's tremendously amusing.
Where's his favorite guy? Where's Boz, dude? Get Boz to call in.
I don't know.
Dude,
We haven't
been
seen
like
him.
3 weeks without Baz. I just realized that.
Yeah, where's Bazleel, or how is that how you pronounce
Bazil.
it?
Yeah,
I think he gave up on Smite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh no, every now and then I'll look at a Reddit
spoken.
thread, it'll be like,
I've heard
guys,
that
the
before.
world is ending.
Yeah.
And then he gets downvoted to oblivion.
Liked him. I liked him. He brought character.
Yeah.
He brought a lot of valid points. I mean,
Oh, that's terrible. It's terrible.
Shout out to Baz for being a good sport.
Yeah. So, Brett, where can we find you? Oh, right. We can find you at BL Gaming from 1 to 4 on weekdays, except for Wednesday.
Every day but Wednesday. And you can also find me on the mobile almost all the time, but especially at night. Shout out to my karaoke buddies. Come kick my ass because I'm tone deaf.
Yeah, it's really bad. He's not as bad as I am, though, because I get benefits from the speakers. They give me points. So, it's good.
Give you feedback in your microphone.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to win.
That's the only time I get any points. It'll be like off, ding, off.
So what you're saying is when we do karaoke night, I just need to not sing and just point my microphone at my speaker.
I tried that. It doesn't work
Yes,
out
you
well.
can do that. It doesn't work that well. You get a little bit.
Yeah, you get a little bit.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I tried.
We sing for hours.
Yep, we sing for hours. Hours and hours. It's a lot of fun. Join us tonight.
Other than that, Cooper, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, what do you got for us?
Drop my Twitter in chat. Thanks to everyone that watches the show. It's awesome. You guys for putting it on, letting me be a guest every week
Wet
with my
blanket every week.
face.
I mean, a guest.
And
And without your talking.
what was that? Are you part of the team? What?
Yeah.
Anyway, so tomorrow at noon, I'm going to be posting a very special post on Reddit. And I want everybody to go on Reddit at noon. And it's going to be dedicated to the EU scum spray yarn. And I promise you he will love it. I promise everyone will love it, actually. So keep an eye out for that.
Reddit at noon.
Who is Spray Yarn again?
He sprays yarn. It's like
He
a
does.
thing. Yeah.
He's that guy that plays Hell.
When is
The only
noon?
thing I
It's
can-
after 11, but before 1.
It's 13 hours from now.
Yeah. Ish.
Yes, 13 hours from now.
Yep. Yeah, 13
No,
hours.
it is 13 hours because in 6 hours it's 6 in the morning.
But it's 11:04.
Oh God! Then it's 12 hours and 56 minutes from now.
we have some viewers in Germany. Can you tell us what time that is in German time?
Yes. What time zone? This is GMT -5, so New York time. Let's do New York time. That's pretty much what it is.
No, you just say it in German.
Oh.
9:04.
9:04. 9:04.
That doesn't
At
sound
noon?
right.
That doesn't sound right. You must be in like in like Israel or something. Way far ahead. Anyway, Scythe, do you have anything you want to say other than your computer's a potato, and that hopefully Cooper will get on it soon here?
Yeah, we never going to see you play against Scythe. Are you retired now with the best?
I'm waiting on Coop. So probably you'll never see me again.
Okay. All right. I'm gracious enough. Okay, I understand.
Coop, I'm the only one who hasn't been taking shots at you all week.
And then once you have it though, it's right.
It's I love
hook to my jaw. That's what it's gonna be.
I forgot.
Coop. It's gonna be I love you for that entire day, possibly 2.
I get a whole day.
Wow.
You get a whole day. That's more than most people get.
It better get there early.
I don't think Krett's ever gotten 3 seconds. I'm giving you a day.
Wait. I think he just posted in chat the Loggle face.
Of course.
We almost made an entire show without seeing it in chat, and there it goes.
Almost.
So
But
close.
I was holding my breath.
all right, so thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
Check us out at BLG.na Mid. We have news, we have shows. Make sure to check out the casually competitive tournament.
Yep.
We are upping the ELO limit
to 2,500.
2,500 this week because people are getting better in general, and we want to see how it works out with the whole thing.
Yeah.
So 2,500 ELO is the max. So tell all your friends. And Joust tournament Sunday, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, it's pretty much we bumped it up because we've had several teams that couldn't join as a team because they were like 2340 or 2401 or something like that, and we haven't had many that were like, well, our guy's 2500. Obviously, it's very far, but
they haven't. It's like, well, he's 2600.
You know, so it seems to be a reasonable cap still. So try not to go wild, but we want to get a little bit higher. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We will go to this lovely picture here, and well, I mean, I can do it right now. See, it just won't work right. Why is it being a bastard?
Check it. Check it. Hey.
Why did it work that time? Weird. Anyway,
Whatever.
That'll be our good outro. And then don't go anywhere because we'll jump into a game and have a little fun before we run.
Hey, Lion, by the way, I want to see this famed list that you were talking about earlier.
Of players?
There it is.
Yeah.
I can close this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have it like written. It's just people who I know are good, but yeah.
All right, you guys in the hangout, let's jump over to the Mumble so we don't have to deal with this keyboard crap. I wish there was a way to turn that off, but we were googling it and
there isn't.
There is no way to turn off the typey muty thing.
Yeah, so if we're in game,
frustrating.
And no one can hear us.
It's very frustrating.
Let's touch base, Scythe, about that tomorrow, as I got to go to bed. I got work in the morning.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Good night.
I think I have you on Skype. If not, I'm in BLG Mumble all the time.
If not, you can, Lionheart, you can just
hear
message me and I'll give you his Skype.
You could just...
You want me to just give you his contact information?
Nah, he's the DDoSer. Better just have him write me a Twitch message.
Yeah, I'll hit you up on Twitch. Don't worry about it.
All right, later, guys.
Later, man.
Later, man. Have a good one.
All right, so let's move over to Mumble.
Yes. Yes.
Woo! Yes, Woo! Over to Mumble. Oh, God, we're going to be in there with, like, Kompas and Aiden. These guys are never going to stop.
Go to a...
No, I'm not going to be in Cooper's streaming channel. I'm going to be in...
Right there.
No, I'm going to go...
Fuck it, I'm just going to delete Cooper's streaming channel.
I'm going over... There, it's Demon's Showroom. That's what we want. That's what we want.